Welcome once again to our YouTube channel, Cape Coral Cell Phone Repair. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. We appreciate your support. If you give us a thumbs up, we appreciate that too. So today, we're going to turn on this NA SP5. We recently did an unboxing, so we're going to turn it on and try out the functions, buttons, mess around with it, and also test how long does it take to heat up the heat plate. We're going to do that with a thermometer that's very, very accurate using a thermocouple. So one of the things that I noticed right off the bat is that there's only one button on the front for suction. Although it does say heat, the heat actually turns on by flipping the button on the back. So I just flipped it now, and you can see the heat come on. So you would need to first turn on the heat before you can actually use your suction. So unlike other hot plates like the Forward 361 series, for example, where you have two buttons and you can independently turn on the suction without the heat. For example, you can just turn on the suction. Here you can't. So although it does say heat, what this button actually does is it turns on the suction here in the middle. You would need to enable that, you need to turn on the heat before you can turn on the suction. So that's something that's there, just so you know. It does have, like we mentioned when we unboxed it, the ability to go around 360 without any glitches, and then you can just lock it. If it's a little too light as far as the locking mechanism, all you need to do is turn this here, just by holding this part, and turn this a little bit more, and that'll make the locking mechanism stronger. So if after you lock it you still notice that it turns, what you need to do is this knob right here, you need to turn it towards the right. You need to tighten it, and then when you turn this over, this lever, then it'll lock it much better that way. Next thing we're doing is we're going to use our thermometer and our thermocouple tip, and we're going to measure how long it takes to reach, I don't know, let's use 100 as a number and see how long it takes to reach to 100. And here we are. We have the tip already taped onto the hot plate right at the center of the hot plate. We got our timer ready, and we have our thermometer. As you can see down at the bottom, it's showing probe, and that's the probe that's connected to the hot plate. It's reading 31 degrees Celsius, which is about room temperature right now. So we are going to turn it on, and as soon as we're going to turn it on, we're going to start the timer. So let's see how long it takes to reach 100. We're going to set it, and it's already set at 100. Let's see how long it takes to get to 100 degrees. So now that we're halfway through, we also want to use this time to verify the accuracy. So it's about, I would say, 1 degree behind what my thermometer is actually reading. So now it's actually about 2 degrees behind. So you can see there's a little bit of a difference. And now you're seeing that it's actually more. So this is why you always want to make sure that you use a thermometer to do an actual live surface test on your hot plate, because you may be setting it at one temperature and you may be overheating it, and that's not good. For example, if you're doing LCDs, because you don't want to get your LCDs too hot, and you don't want it to be not as hot if that's the case. So in this case, we're already, our hot plate is about 6 degrees off of the actual temperature on the surface. So we're going to get to 100 degrees on the actual temperature and see how long it takes. Right now we're about 2 minutes and 49 seconds. But let's see what happens once we get to 100. So it reached 100 on the plate, and it's actually, there we go, right there, reached 100 there, and 3 minutes and 54 seconds. So just under 4 minutes to get to 100. You could compare that to your hot plate and see where you're at. But remember, only when the heat is on the back is when you turn on your suction, and that's when the suction will work. If I turn this heat off in the back, the suction does not turn on. So if you're using the suction for something else other than heating, it's something you might want to look into. I don't see on this particular hot plate the ability to have like 3 or 4 different channels where you can just press a button and you already have your preset temperature setting for that particular device. For example, if you're doing LCDs, you can set it on channel 1. If you're doing OLEDs, you can set it on channel 2. And then if you're doing iPad LCDs, you can set it on another channel. So preset channels are more of a commodity, but it's a nice little feature. This one right here doesn't have it. I did put the mat on top of it, and with a suction on, I was able to pull up on it. But then again, this device here is very light, so it's not very heavy, so it should be able to lift its weight anyway. But overall, it's a good device. I give it a thumbs up. It was just lagging behind as far as the temperature. The actual temperature showed on the probe than the actual temperature showing here, but only like by a few seconds. So maybe about 5 or 6 seconds later, it showed 100 here once it showed 100 on the actual device. So overall, I'd say it's a good one. Go ahead and get it. I will post a link in the description so you guys can check it out. They go for about $165, give or take, between $160 $165, and that includes shipping as well. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel. It gives us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.